Hey everyone, my name is Claire Muscat. I am a Girl Scout and this video is part of my Gold Award project called Making a Difference One Experiment at a Time. I love science and I'm an aspiring scientist. So as part of my project, I wrote this book about a little girl who loves science and who wants to make the world a better place with it. I want you guys to know that science is for everyone, that science is fun, and to encourage you to explore science and see if you love it too. And without further ado, this is my book titled Science is Super. Thanks for tuning in! Once upon a time, there was a nice little family that lived in a nice little house. And in the little family, there was a mommy, a daddy, a boy named Michael, and a girl named Caitlin. Now Michael was the oldest kid in the family. He was 9 and Caitlin was 5. He was a talented athlete, the star of the local baseball team, and one of the most popular kids at school. And then there was Caitlin. She was always the quiet one of the bunch. She didn't like dolls like most of the other little girls, and she wasn't very good at sports either. But even at the age of 5, Caitlin knew she liked science and building things. She was creative and really good at making things with her hands. As Caitlin continued to grow, so did her love for science. Before her parents knew it, it was Caitlin's 8th birthday. Her mommy made a yummy chocolate cake and carefully placed 8 candles into the chocolate frosting. The family gathered around, sang happy birthday, and then it came time for Caitlin to blow out her candles. "Make a wish, Caitlin," whispered her daddy. "And make it a good one," said her mommy. Caitlin closed her eyes, picked her wish, and blew out the candles in one big breath. She never said it out loud, but Caitlin had wished for a superpower, the power to build and fix things with her mind. She had so many ideas of what she could and would do with this power that combined her love of science and of helping people. That night, as Caitlin's head hit the pillow, she wondered if her wish would come true. The next morning, Caitlin woke up. She walked to the mirror and took a long look at herself. She didn't notice anything different. "I'm exactly the same as I was last night," sighed Caitlin. "I guess my wish didn't come true." Disappointed, Caitlin decided to go about her day as normal. She brushed her teeth and then went downstairs for breakfast. Just as she started to take one bite of her Captain Crunch, she heard her mommy yelling to her daddy that they had a busted pipe in the front yard. She dashed outside through the front door and saw a stream of water coming from the broken pipe. Caitlin ran to the spot where the pipe was broken, covered it with her small, yet now mighty hands, and all at once, the water stopped flowing. "Weird," whispered Caitlin to herself. "Maybe I did get my wish after all." "Caitlin!" cried her parents and her brother. "How in the world did you do that?" "Remember my birthday wish from last night? Well, I wished for the power to fix things and build things with my mind, and I guess it came true." "I can't believe it," they said in amazement. "I have a superpower!" squealed Caitlin with excitement. Caitlin ran inside, up the stairs, and to her neat little desk to start planning how she could use her new power for science and for good. She remembered hearing on the news about some scientists working on a big project in her city. They wanted to use the water to create electricity for the city, but the project was going very slowly. Even though she was only 8 years old, Caitlin decided she would try to help. Her mom drove her to the spot where the work was being done. She walked over to the group of scientists and told them why she was there. They all laughed and did not believe she could help, but they were having a really hard time with the building of the project, so they said Caitlin could stay. But she was not intimidated. She simply imagined what needed to be built in her mind, and all of a sudden, it appeared. The scientists could not believe their eyes. As Caitlin left to go help more people, the scientists all yelled, "Thank you!" Caitlin decided she wanted to use science and her superpower to help people in different countries too. She had 2 places that she knew really needed help, the Dominican Republic and Kenya. In the Dominican Republic, many people did not have clean water. Their water was dirty and a lot of people got really sick from drinking it. There were some groups of missionaries in the Dominican Republic that would build water filters with their hands, but this took a long time and there were a lot of families who needed help right away. So Caitlin and her family flew to the Dominican Republic that day and found the camp where the missionaries were building the filters. Caitlin introduced herself, explained her power, and told them she wanted to help. Again, the missionaries did not believe her, but they said she could do her best to help. They showed her all of the parts and told her how to create a filter, which took about 2 days of work. But not for Caitlin. As the missionaries went back to their stations to continue building, Caitlin closed her eyes, imagined a filter in her head, and all of a sudden it appeared. She did this again and again and again. When the missionaries came over, they could not believe their eyes. This little girl had just made 40 filters, enough for the whole village. Caitlin couldn't stay long because she was ready to travel to Kenya and help build wells for the people there. After a long time on another airplane, Caitlin and her family made it to Kenya. They drove to a small village. Now, the people living in this village did not have any clean water. In fact, they had no water nearby at all. The women and children had to walk miles every day to go get water, and this water was dirty like the water in the Dominican Republic. And there were many other villages with the same problem. People were there trying to build wells for these communities, but the process of building a well was slow, and the people needed clean water right away. Caitlin was determined to help build as many wells as possible, so she started working immediately. She walked into the middle of the village, pictured a big, beautiful well in her mind, and there it was. Caitlin and her family drove from village to village, and Caitlin built a new well in each one. The women and children never had to walk miles for dirty water again, because now they had clean water. Everyone was so thankful. Caitlin had to go home because summer was ending and school would be starting soon. But she was so happy because she knew that she had used her love for science and her new power to make the world a better place. That night, when she laid down to go to sleep, she dreamed about all of the other amazing things her fixing and building power could be used for to help make a difference. She couldn't wait for her next project. The end. Thank you so much for listening to my book. If you liked this story and feel inspired to have some science fun of your own, please check out some of my other videos on this channel where we can explore science together through some really fun experiments that you can do at home. Thank you and bye!